So you're in town end of May, May 31st, Windspear. You're back on the road. When was the last time you did stand-up?
Well, doing a tour like this has got to have been well over a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
Wow.
You know, I've done like little stints here and there. I'll go to Vancouver, do spots, or I'll go to Toronto and do some shows. But I haven't done like a full-on tour since probably Just for Laughs 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, something like that.
Was that like a Just for Laughs, like you were hosting, emceeing kind of like a group of comics?
Right. Yeah, I was hosting that one, and that was a blast. That was the last time I did a full like theater tour.
So what was the impetus for this? You're doing so well with Detroit 187. How come you're doing this again?
Well, it's kind of a number of things. One being I haven't been on the road in a while, and I love doing stand-up, and I love doing theaters. And, you know, I've always wanted to do a solo theater tour, and I've yet to do that. So this is like my first time doing it. In a way, you know, it's going to be my face on the poster with my buddy Nigel Lawrence, who's going to be opening for me, who's a good buddy of mine and hilarious. He's like a headliner in his own right. So, you know, there's that. Just go, hey, Shaun, you haven't done a tour. Let's do a tour. So put a little money in my pocket, but also it's to promote another project I'm working on, Majumder Manor, which is going to be a 12-part documentary series that follows me as I build a kind of a 5-room boutique eco-luxe lodge in my hometown of Burlington, Newfoundland, population 350. And basically, the tour will be, it's actually taken on a few different things other than that. It's going to promote the Majumder Manor. It's going to raise awareness by meeting up with, you know, a lot of famous Canadians along the way. I want to invite them personally to the big kitchen party that will happen at the end of the entire build and at the end of the series. I also am going to be shooting now a feature-length kind of documentary about my road trip. It's kind of a buddy movie that will be a buddy movie, stand-up comedy documentary, a concert DVD. I don't have anything like that either. I'm slow to the take on a lot of these things. And so it's going to be all three of those. And, you know, right when I finish the tour, I'm going right into Majumder Manor. So that's going to be a lot of the focus of the tour as well.
You said a lot there. Let's go back to Majumder Manor for a second. What is a boutique eco-luxe lodge? You threw a lot of words there. I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Well, boutique meaning it's not of the main chain, corporate, large chain kind of hotels, right?
Okay.
It's its own thing. It's unique. It's original. It is what it is. It's not a part of any corporate chain. So it's boutique in that sense, and it's small and specific to the needs and the kind of the location, right? It's not exactly your standard place. It's going to be the luxe part of it. Obviously, kind of speaks for itself in the sense that it's going to be a nice place to stay. You know, it's going to be hopefully 5 stars and with great views, great food. It's something that's missing in Newfoundland accommodations.
Oh, okay.
There's not a lot of, and when I say luxe, I don't want to say, oh, there's going to be, you know, pool boys waiting at you think that you're hot, and then all of a sudden they're providing a popsicle. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be, you know, really nice bedding, really great views, a lot of great, you know, the finish is going to be beautiful. It's going to be really nice, and it's going to be an expensive place to stay. But because there's only going to be 5 rooms, hopefully that's going to create a demand. Now, The thing about Newfoundland is the place that I grew up in already has built into it all these amazing things that just exist. Like in terms of activities, you've got boating, skidooing, you've got fishing, you've got icebergs and whales, and you know, there's just so many amazing fun things to do when you're in Burlington, in Newfoundland, in that region specifically. And then on top of that, you've got the people, the hospitality, the food. It's always a unique adventure when any time anybody ever goes there, they always walk away with this pretty cool feeling. So that already exists. I want to put a place there that is going to provide kind of the central heartbeat for tourism in the region. and draw people from around the world to share with them this place. And that's kind of the purpose of Majumder Manor. And then a large portion of those proceeds that come from, the people that are staying there are going to go back into the community to help support the newly formed tourism infrastructure. Because right now, a lot of people, used to be fishing, used to be shipbuilding back in the day. It used to be a hub for schooner building. My hometown was. That's all gone away now. Fish is gone. People are leaving, going off to Fort McMurray, Alberta. They're getting emphysema and getting addicted to crack. And I need that to stop. I want people to be in Burlington, And hopefully it'll inspire people to start jobs, to start new businesses, boat tours, hiking trails, all of that stuff. It starts with one little building, and then it will grow from there. And I really do believe it will.
Is your family still there?
I have family there, yes. My mom's passed away, and my dad's living in... Actually, my dad... It's so funny because they split when I was a kid, Mom and Dad. And Dad was in Ontario. I was in Newfoundland with Mom. And then my dad now actually lives back in Burlington in the town that they got married in. But he's with a woman he met back in Germany when he was 22 years old. He reconnected with the love of his life way back when. And now he's living in the town that he married my mom, who's now no longer with us. But it's just such an interesting way of just the cycle of life, and how he's back there now.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show you that you building this manor is the right thing to do, right? I mean, it seems like there's a connection to that city. No matter, you can't escape it if you tried.
This is all born out of truth and born out of a desire for and a passion for the place. It's not some, business venture that I'm trying to... Let me see, what else can I do? It's not like, I need a cologne, I need a set of earrings or a friggin' brass bracelet that'll synchronize your spine with your head. I don't need any of that. I'm not looking to make... It's not necessarily going to be I'm not looking to make money off of it into my pocket and so I can buy a Maserati. It genuinely is an idea that hopefully will be a model for other rural outports. Outports in Newfoundland are dying. People are leaving. If they're going to St. John's, that's one thing. But most people are leaving and going away, heading to your province, which I think is great. But at the same time, it's a sad thing that's happening because culturally, rural Newfoundland to me is the heartbeat of what the province is all about. And Newfoundland itself, rural Newfoundland is a very unique part of Canada as well. You got rural communities all over Alberta, you got rural communities all over Quebec and BC, but Newfoundland rural communities are very distinct and very different in my experience, having traveled across the country a few times.
Is a lot of your act based on Newfoundland humor?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, it is, in terms of the sense of humor, I think has been inspired by rural Newfoundland and growing up in Newfoundland, but my jokes are now, things that I talk about. Some of it is Newfoundland, because I've heard, when I'm in Edmonton, I have a feeling there will be a few Newfoundlanders that may show up for my show.
They tend to come out in droves, yeah.
So, because they're all rich now.
Yeah, that's true.
They're like, whatever, man. Let's pay the kid just to sit still. We don't even need a babysitter. We're that rich.
We're that rich.
The Newfoundlanders are going to be coming out in droves, I'm sure. So yes, I have a feeling in Alberta I'll be talking about Newfoundland. But it's not the only thing in my act up.
Yeah, what is in the act? Because, most people, I guess, now will know you from Detroit 187 and 24 and Raj Binder and This Hour and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what is your stand-up act? What are people coming to hear? Without giving away too much, obviously.
Yeah, well, it changes moment to moment. But one thing is if people have seen my act before, they're going to see probably some of that. There's going to be some elements of that because it's amazing how if you don't do stand-up for 3 years, you gain a new group of fans that don't even know you do stand-up. Like when people see me on 187, they're not going to be like, that guy's hilarious.
It's true.
They're going to be like, that's what he's doing, stand-up? What? And then I go and I do stand-up, and they're like, oh, great, that's fantastic, that's fun. So my act is going to encompass some of the old stuff. It's going to be, talking about newer things that have happened in my life. Moving to L.A., I'll be talking a bit about that and how long I've been down here and what that experience has been like.
So you're back in LA now? Because I heard you moved to
I've been
Detroit
in
for the
LA.
series.
I've been living here for probably over 10 years, but I have bought a house here now, and yeah, I've been here for a long time. I just go up to Canada and I work and I come back here. This is my home base now.
I thought they moved you to Detroit to do the series, though.
Oh yes, absolutely. I just drove back from Detroit probably about a week and a half ago.
Oh wow!
So I've been in Detroit for 8 months.
What's going on with that show? Because I mean, I hear there's fears of it being canceled. There's petitions on your website and things like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to hear that there's a great amount of support for the show. You know, like it is a solid show. I think it's a solid, story-driven, smart, well-written show, which people seem to respond to when they watch it, but not enough people are watching it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the thing. They're not promoting it as well as they could, I think. It's in a weird time slot. It's up against The Good Wife, which is a pretty popular show. I don't know. I have no idea. It's kind of like reading tea leaves. I don't know what the reason is that more people aren't watching, because genuinely when people watch it, they don't have they're not like, oh, that's horrible. Not a lot of people, they say, oh, yeah, no, it's good. I like that show. I just don't think people are watching because, I don't know, it's late, 10 o'clock, people got to work. Who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
The rumor is that it's canceled, but it isn't. We still have a strong chance of being picked up, in my opinion. I think a big factor is going to be whether the tax incentives hold up in Michigan, because
right, yeah, of course.
There's a new governor, and he wants to get rid of the film tax incentives.
Do you think the production will move up to Canada? Like just move it over to Windsor or something then? If it did stay on?
Good idea, but I doubt it'll happen.
Okay. This is going to air on Monday, so do you want to give us a sneak peek into the episode, which I believe is the final episode next week, is it not?
No, the final episode is Sunday.
Is Sunday?
Yeah, they moved it. See, this is what they're doing. They're fucking us over. They're dancing around. They're taking us off schedule because of Charlie Sheen.
Because of Charlie Sheen.
They preempt us for craziest, weirdest shows. They're not behind the show right now, but yet they go on record as saying how much they love the show.
Charlie.
But anyway, so tonight is episode 17.
Yeah,
and it's a great one.
What's your role in tonight's episode?
Tonight's episode is actually heavily me and my partner James. It's our major case, and in the background is the world of Michael Imperioli's son shows up.
Right. Is that his actual son? I saw his name on the synopsis.
It is cool, and he had to go through the same audition process that everybody else had to go through, and he ended up booking it. And Michael Imperioli is a pretty hard ass about it, and didn't want him getting any kind of special treatment. And he was great, man. Vadim was good, and it shows in the connection that they have throughout these two episodes. Tonight, it's a case about a young tagger gets killed, like a graffiti artist.
Right.
And there's a whole thing about that. But then the backstory is all about, Fitch's backstory and what's leading up to, and plus we're dealing with the death of Detective Stone, who just died last episode.
Thanks for ruining it for me. I haven't seen it. I appreciate that, though. Thank you.
You're not supposed to. Don't you put that. Well, no, it's too late now. You're the only one who's behind.
This is true. You mentioned a buddy movie. You're shooting a buddy movie while you're on this tour.
Well, what it's going to be is a documentary about road tripping. Like I figured, here I am, me and my buddy Nigel, who's from Red Deer, Alberta.
Okay.
Who's a good friend of mine and a hilarious stand-up. He's opening for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that. I'm going to be promoting Majumder Manor. I'm going to be shooting things for Majumder Manor on the tour, promoting the Majumder Manor on the tour, and putting those in the episodes of the 12-part documentary series. We figured, okay, we're on the road. I don't have a DVD, so why not have my best friend Pete be my guy behind the camera, and we actually shoot a road trip documentary.
Are you going to script parts of it, or is it just all going to be, let's just pull out the camera and see what happens?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of that. It's going to be totally fun. We don't know what we're going to get, but I think, if we can get the right people behind it, we're in the process right now trying to convince HBO Canada to give us some money to shoot it and do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Bring an extra camera guy on the shoot, and make it really, really in depth. And it's not just going to be a performance DVD. It's going to be kind of a film that's about what it's like to do what we do, and what is it like to go perform, be famous. What does it mean to not be famous? What does it mean to make it? If that means anything at all.
What does it mean to me? That's a good question. What does it mean to make it to you? Have you made it?
Nah, I'm making it. I'm doing it. It doesn't mean anything to make it. It just means to do it. If I'm doing it, then I'm making it. And that's the most important thing. I think people have this misunderstanding about what it is that we do, and even people in my position have a misunderstanding what they think it is supposed to be doing. They put this pressure on themselves to make it. Like, fuck, make it. What does make it mean? Make it. I thought I made it when I could afford, instead of having to fly to L.A. on Canada 3000, I could afford an Air Canada ticket. I thought I made it.
Oh,
then
Canada 3000.
I get down to L.A., and I was hired to do a pilot with Ellen DeGeneres and Tim Conway. I made it.
Really?
Then I got fired. Yeah, then I got fired 3 days in for no reason other than they wanted to change it up.
That's Hollywood.
And these things happen. So making it means nothing. Making it, to me, if I'm doing and I'm creating and I'm making some money at it, because you got to make some money. It's a profession.
You got to eat.
And you got to eat, and you got to be able to do other projects. You just got to be continuing, having the freedom to be able to do what you love to do. Then I could say that's when I made it.
What's next for you after this big tour? So you're on the road until, I guess, the beginning of June.
And then I dive into Majumder Manor. I keep going with Majumder Manor, making sure that the series is falling into place, making sure the stories, making sure we're, the actual design process. We hope to break ground shortly after. And then from that, I don't know. It all depends on what happens with Detroit 187.
Right.
And I'm developing a few other projects. A show about surfing in Nova Scotia and stuff like that.
We do something on the show called 5 Questions. 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
That's right.
Shoot.
Stand-up or acting?
Acting.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lemons.
Lemon. Role you're most proud of?
Detroit 187.
Bit you're most proud of?
A sweaty East Indian character named Raj Binder.
Cool. I like your bit on texting because I totally agree with the Apple stupid iPhone, the autocorrect.
Yeah, I have. It's a hard question to answer actually, because there's a few things that I enjoy doing that some people love, some people hate, but it varies.
Does Raj come out in your act, or do you try and separate from that entirely?
No, I do separate from that in my act. I don't do it, but I call it a bit.
Right. No, fair enough.
I call it a bit, but it's not. I have a lot of fun doing it when I'm doing it, but it's certainly not in my act. But I think texting is one of my favorites as well.
I wasn't saying it for that. I was just I happened to watch that one on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I like that one.
I do like it because it's a crafted piece. You know what I mean? It's a thought out kind of word for word. I had to write prose.
Oh yeah, it's true. Well, I want to finish the 5 questions, but that's interesting. How much of your act is scripted? Like, do you write it out and then rehearse it, or do you kind of just write out some notes and go with it? It's
a combination of both. I mean, like for example, I can't not do the texting bit improvised. I mean, that's got to be word for word, syllable for syllable. There's certain things that are like that I've written. I think it's important because that's also what's cool about being in front of a live audience. Someone could yell something out, you got to go with it. That's totally fun.
Mm-hmm. Back to the 5 questions, though. In one word, Shaun Majumder.
Douchebag.
Good word. Winning. Do you know Charlie? Have you met Charlie at all?
I never have, and it's what an interesting thing that is. What is your take on that?
I think it's kind of funny. He's kind of mocking. I mean, it's sad in the fact, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's fake at the same time. Like, I feel like he's pulling this off to mock celebrity and to take a piss out of everyone and say, stop taking everyone so seriously. Stop looking at the tabloids. Stop caring what we say. We're just, were actors.
Did you see Joaquin Phoenix documentary?
I did, and I almost feel like it's verging on that in a way.
I think it is, but I don't think it's as well thought out. I think he's genuinely a mentally unstable human being. I feel like that. I know people like that, and his ego is so through the roof that he's losing touch with. He's not parodying. I don't see the satire.
Yeah, fair enough.
I didn't see the satire at first with Joaquin Phoenix, and then I watched the documentary. I went, "That is awesome. Well done, sir. Like, to commit your life for a year to this character that was genuinely an acted, crafted persona that he turned off when the cameras weren't rolling." But I don't think, I don't know, maybe there's a documentary that's going to come out in a year from now about Charlie Sheen, and he will say, "Guys, this was all a hoax." But I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't. But it's hard to understand. I mean, you have some fame, so maybe you can give me some insight into this too. I mean, like, he grew up. He's been told he's the shit for the past 20 years, right? Like, everyone loves you. You get thrown into parties. You get thrown into all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's gonna mess with your head a little bit, I would think. I mean, look at Michael Jackson when that starts at 5 years old.
That's what I mean. Like, I think he believes his own hype. He always has, and it's not like he just randomly out of nowhere started doing drugs and started being involved with hookers and blow. I mean, he's been at it since he was 21. So it's not like, this pattern has continued. He's been, how many marriages has he had?
Yeah.
It's not really a facade because he's popping out babies. I mean, it's all real. Everything is real with him, I think. My prediction is that it's real, and I think that when you make that much money and people tell you you're that amazing for so long, you do lose sight. And I think it's important to keep track of who you are and not allow the hype to get into your head. And I think that's really important. Yeah. I'm a pretty well-adjusted dude, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I grew up in a small town, and my mom was always like, don't think you're better than anyone else, and be nice to people. It's a simple little bit of formula, say please and thank you, and be nice to people. That's like, it goes so far and goes so long, and it just forces you to stay in the moment. I'll tell you what, like, people that I've been surrounded by, like Michael Imperioli, for example, he's that way now. I mean, he's an absolutely amazing human being who is totally grounded, totally chill. He has his issues, I'm sure. But,
right, who doesn't?
But you know what? He, on set, there was not one ego, one star that was a part of our cast that, was kicking up a fuss about anything other than Detective Stone, who dies last episode. It's okay because it's out on TV. But
what are you doing to me?
But you missed it. But I can tell you.
But I have it PVR'd. I was going to watch it.
Well, I'll tell you, I die tonight.
No, you don't. Don't just make things up.
I died
yeah.
in your eyes tonight.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
So, yeah, that's it. I think about Charlie Sheen for sure.
Yeah, it's funny though. He's got everybody talking, and I mean, if that was the goal for all this, then he's done a really good job.
Someone made it an interesting point on one of the pundits was saying how it's like he's that guy at the party that holds the corner of the room where everybody is totally into because he's funny and he's charming and he's got the bag of drugs and everybody loves him and he's totally fun. He's, and then, that's at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then by 4 in the morning, he's still there. People have left, but he's still doing the same thing. People are like, dude, that guy better, where did he go? Who knows this guy? Where's he from? Like, and he won't shut up. I'm trying to go to bed. And he's like, now that's the point in time in this whole facade thing where it's starting to get to the point where people are like, okay, Charlie, shut up.
Yeah.
You're not being brilliant. You're being kind of loud and just annoying. You're not really, what are you contributing right now? You're not really saying anything. You're just hating on the people that you were close to, and you think that your decision, I mean, I played that game of who said it, Charlie Sheen or Muammar Gaddafi.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I was wrong across the board. I kept thinking it was Muammar Gaddafi, and it was actually Charlie Sheen, I was just like, oh my God, that's what he's saying out loud. Maybe, I don't know.
That's a good bit, man. If he's still in the news in 2 months, you could throw that into your act.
I might have to talk about Charlie Sheen in my act. If he's still on the go, but...
Yeah, who knows, right?